Good morning, everyone. Hello, it's great to see you all. Are you there, Elite?
I am.
Hi, and we are excited. Those of you who cooked with us over the summer know how much fun it is to cook with Elite. And not only is it fun, the product is amazing. So usually, Elite is the master of healthy cooking. If that's what you came for, then you're in the wrong place. This is fun Hanukkah sweet treat cooking, and it's going to be delicious. It's a special time. It's Hanukkah. We're going to celebrate, and we're going to take advantage of the holiday and our special Sufganiyot. So everyone I hope you have your recipe or your ingredients out and you're ready to make something wonderful. And I'm going to turn this over to Elite. So everyone enjoy. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat room and I will make sure that Elite gets the question from you. Have fun.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to my kitchen. I see some names I know, and now I don't have my glasses, so I can see. You can wave to me. And then we'll take questions. Sherry will read with maybe names, and then I'll see who's here and say hi. But we're making Sufganiyot, and like Sherry said, it's a fun holiday, and we're doing it once a year. I'm not encouraging anyone to make Sufganiyot once a week or even once a month, but once a year. We are here to celebrate. We are doing two versions of Sufganiyot. One is a little bit longer one is a quick one is the East dough one is just a quick, thicker batter than a pancake mix. And we're just a little note, Sufganiyot is one Sufganiya. The root for Sufganiyot is, or Sufganiya is Safag. So Samech Pei Gimel, which means to absorb. So what the Sufganiyot are definitely going to absorb oil, just to celebrate the 8 days of the olive oil that lasted to light the menorah. So we're celebrating the oil, we're celebrating happy times. A little note on the oil, who's also gonna make it with me? I mean, do I have a lot of people that are making it with me? Raise hands or, good. So I'm gonna try and do it slowly. I have everything ready for the two versions. And I'm gonna start with turning on my oven for just a few seconds, just to create a warm box for the East dough, so it doesn't take us long. It's kind of like a coolish day. My kitchen is cool, so I'm gonna warm up the oven for maybe 5 minutes. Turn it off just so it's a little bit warm. There's no certain temperature, but just like if you're gonna touch the inside, the air is going to feel like a warm summer day. So if you are cooking with me, you can put the oven to start on the lowest heat you can and just turn it off in 2, 3, 5 minutes, and then just to create a warm box. We're going to do the two together because the East dough takes longer to proof or rest, and the quick one we're just going to mix and make. So we're going to move a few places, and Sherry will help me coordinate everything. You don't have to do the two of them today. You can just like watch me and do one version today, one version maybe in Hanukkah or later on. So we're going to start with the East dough. And I'm going to move to the East dough station. So I'm here. Thank you, Sherry. And it's very similar to challah dough. which means we're gonna knead it and then we're gonna let it rest, and then we're gonna shape it and let it rest again. But it could be a little bit shorter than challah, especially the last stage of the second rising, because then we're gonna just let the Sufganiyot rise. So it's a smaller, imagine a much smaller challah just rising. So we just need like 10 minutes. I'm gonna check my oven. In 1 second, I'm gonna turn it off. So we're gonna start with the flour. And for this version, we're using all-purpose. I love using King Arthur. So it's King Arthur all-purpose. We're doing for the yeast dough, and we're gonna mix the kind of like the dry ingredients. We're gonna put the flour and the yeast and the sugar, and just mix it lightly to blend. It's not in one clumpy. And then I'm gonna add, like in the middle, I naturally do that, but I forget to say that. I'm gonna make a little hole in the middle and just like put my wet. I have eggs, I have vanilla, I have oil. I'm using canola oil today, which I don't normally use in my cooking. And I prefer orange zest, but you can do lemon zest or you can do nothing, but it really adds a really nice aroma. The salt I'm gonna leave to last. And if you look at the recipe Sherry sent you, sorry, I made a typo. It's not 1 teaspoon, that's too much, 1/4 teaspoon. So we're just gonna add it a little bit later once everything is like, comes together. And of course we have the water, but we're gonna start with 3/4 cup. And we're gonna see how the consistency of the dough is. And then we'll add either flour or sugar. We're very flexible here. We're not gonna say 3/4 is a must. We're just gonna wait and see what it looks like. So I'm starting slowly, and each dough needs some patience. So first we'll start slowly, and then I'm gonna increase the speed.
Elite, if someone makes it now, can they freeze it or do they have to eat it and make it again?
Oh, freeze the Sufganiyot?
Yes.
They actually freeze very well. I would freeze it in single layers, let's say like 6, put a parchment paper, maybe put another 6. So if you can just like put in a flat kind of a storage dish, try not to stuff too many together, but they work pretty well with freezing and defrosting. It's not as good as coming out of the oven, I have to say, but it works. So we put the flour, yeast, and sugar, then we added eggs, oil, vanilla, zest, orange zest, and 3/4 cups of water. So if you can see, it's coming together. I'm gonna put my 1/4 cup of salt now.
If someone forgot to buy all-purpose and they only have their challah bread flour, what will that
It
do?
will work, it will still work.
Okay,
still work.
great, great.
Yeah, so I see it's coming together. I think I want it a little bit more moist. So I'm just gonna add 1 tablespoon of water.
And how will you know if it looks too moist or too dry?
So you're doing it with me. And so let me stop it for a second. I'm gonna take it off the hook for a little bit just to look at it. The first, I just look at it and it just, first of all, it needs a lot of more mixing because it's very clumpy and it's not smooth, but it was just very dry at the bottom. And I know that the more I mix it, the more it's gonna come together. And so when I added another 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon, it will probably do the trick. We have to give it at least 3-5 minutes solid to do this before we let it rest. So let's look at it again in a second. And you can't judge just like by that stage. You have to give it enough time to knead. You can do it by hand. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and it's a hard, like, physical for me to do it by hand. Hand works fine, just like you do a challah. Some people like to do it by hand. I like to use the mixer. It's just easier. I'm also free to do something else. But I'm going to turn off my oven. And I'm actually going to let the door open because I want it to be a little bit less hot. So you see how it's like changes with time. You can unhook it another second.
So if let's say you made the dough now and didn't want to use it right away and you wanted to wait until actually Hanukkah to do it. Can you freeze just the dough?
I wouldn't freeze the dough. I would, you know what? Some people freeze, I know, challah dough. So it might work. You can try. You could put it in the refrigerator for a day. I don't know. Do people have experience with freezing challah dough? I guess it's fine because you can buy some.
If anyone wants to put it in the chat, your experience, that would help. It sounds like it's something Elite hasn't done. And if you make your Sufganiyot, how long do they stay fresh?
So honestly, Sufganiyot is something that tastes the best out of the oven. 10 minutes for cooling, 10 minutes for filling and dusting and eating. Best fresh. But if you are freezing it, it's possible. Just let it cool completely and store in a single or maybe 2 layers and seal it tightly, put it in the freezer, then defrost, and you can put it in the oven for like maybe 5 minutes, not more than that, just a little, and they would still be warm and yummy. If you leave it in outside the refrigerator or freezer, the next day it's still tasty, but it's not as good.
It's like any fresh pastry. It's never the same.
Right, and fried items, they're French fries. It's best when it's coming out of the oven. So you can like maneuver around, but it's I love to do things ahead of time. Like I always cook if I have a big meal. But the Sufganiyot, you really need to and that's why the quick ones are great, because that you can make ahead of time, a little bit ahead of time, the dough, and then make them. It's quicker. You don't have to let them rest and all that. So let's pick and see how this looks. So once the dough comes out of the walls of you can see how it came. Let's mix it again so you can see. It's actually a little sticky for me, so I am gonna put a little bit more. You see how it's still very sticky to the wall, so I'm gonna put a little bit of flour. It's very, it depends, it's very finicky, the yeast dough. You have to judge on the spot. So I do like that it comes out of the walls. It is stuck to the bottom, but that's fine. Let's look. I like it. When I touch it, you see, it's springy and it's not sticking to my hands. I'm just gonna remove it from the hook. And I'm gonna put a little bit of oil to let it rest in in the oven that I warmed up, and we don't want it to get dry. So I'm gonna remove it from the walls, put a little bit oil at the top. I'm gonna cover it. Now you can leave it on the counter if you're cooking that day and the kitchen is kind of like warm, leave it for an hour on the counter. But today we're trying to expedite things. So I'm touching the oven, it's a little warm. I'm gonna put it here for like probably half an hour. It just plots the timing.
You added the salt last. Why last?
So the yeast need to activate with the sugar and the water and the flour. And if I put the salt right away, it's gonna keep the yeast from rising properly.
Salt kills yeast, the same like in challah.
Exactly. So in challah, it's exactly the same dough. And I looked at the measurement, it's almost like my challah recipe. But the dough, the salt at the end just lets the yeast do their job and make it rise properly. So we're done with this. We're just gonna let it rest, and we're gonna do the quick one, real quick. I'm gonna put my apron on because we're almost ready to.
And you said that you put it, 2 questions. You said you put it in your oven to proof, and how high is your oven?
No, so the oven is off.
Oh, your oven is off, so it's just on, it's just in there to be warm. Okay. Right. And how much water did you add?
I ended up with 3/4 cup.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, it could be different tomorrow because every day is different. Every flour is different. Every egg is different. The oil you're using is different. Everything is different for everyone, in a different day. So I could be doing a different thing, but you saw that when I pulled it out of the hook, I didn't have too much stickiness. So it wasn't like a loose batter, it was like a dough.
So you said you turned the oven off.
Yeah.
Had you turned it on and then turned it off?
Exactly. That's what I said at the very, very beginning. I said, let's turn the ovens on, create like a warm box.
And what temperature did you turn it on to?
It probably came to like 100 degrees and I turned it off.
Okay, great.
And now I actually opened the door because it was a little bit too, you want to create like a hot summer day in the oven. Makes sense?
Yes.
So like a 90, 100, but not more than that. So you turn on your oven, and every oven is different. So you turn on the oven, you just put your hand like that in the middle, and you just want it to be a warm environment for the dough, and it just expedites the process of the yeast dough. You can leave it on the counter too, but that just makes it a little bit faster, and we all short in time anyway. So it's just a little trick, but you don't have to. You can just leave it on the counter. So I'm going to move to the quick Sufganiyot, and I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So here we're using self-rising flour. There is a way around it, and I'll say in a minute. But I found King Arthur self-rising, which I was so happy about. It lasts me, this bag lasts for a long time because I don't have a lot of things I do with self-rising flour, but it works very well. So what it is, self-rising is basically all-purpose flour with baking powder and salt. So I believe it's about 1 cup of flour, all-purpose, and you can add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt to create self-rising flour. So if you don't have self-rising, it's fine. You can make it your own. But if you have a bag, that bag will last you for definitely a few recipes, and King Arthur is just doing a good job with their flour.
So what's the advantage of buying the self-rising as opposed to just putting that together? Ease?
Ease, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I really like their quality. So I don't know what they do. I mean, it's just a good, and yeah, ease. So I have a bread flour, I have all-purpose flour, and I have this one. But I don't always have this one. So I don't have to run to the food store to get, you know, it's not going to kill my day if I don't have the self-rising. You can always make it.
Okay.
And it works. With this recipe, it works the same.
Great.
So we have the flour. So I started with 2.5 cups. Again, here we also going to be flexible about how much we're going to use. We're going to make it like a thick batter, like a little bit thicker than a pancake batter, a little bit looser than the yeast flour one. So you're going to see the consistency as I make it. So again, I'm keeping it open-ended with this. We just started with 2.5 cups of self-rising flour. We're going to put the sugar, 4 tablespoons of sugar, and the eggs. They don't have to be mixed. You can mix it as you go. And here's another little speech about my yogurt. So in Israel, I used to make this recipe with, I don't know if you're familiar with eshel. Eshel is like, it's not like Greek yogurt. It's not like gvina levana. It's looser. It has much more water in it, but it still has those like activating, like the acidity that dairy products have to create that puffiness for the dough. So I looked a lot around, and I think the yogurt that is not Greek yogurt works here. You can also add a little bit of water to it to come to the consistency. I'm going to show you the consistency of that yogurt that I like.
Is it whole milk yogurt or low fat?
This one is low fat yogurt. Here, oh, I can't tilt it, but
plain low fat.
Yeah, it's actually from Trader Joe's, organic, low-fat yogurt. Organic is always good when you do dairy. At least this is healthy things that I'm putting in there. So Trader Joe's organic, low-fat yogurt, plain, of course, no flavors. And this is 1% milk fat.
Okay.
Eshel is exactly that. It's kind of like a loose version of Greek yogurt, a little bit more acidic. And that's what creates so this is the puffiness of those donuts. So you can see the consistency of this. It's a lot of water. It's very watery. So I'm going to put 1.5 cup of, actually, I can pour it in. I'm going to put 1.5, oh my God, 1.5 cups. And we're going to see where it takes us, and the vanilla, of course. And again, this recipe is an Israeli recipe. So it was made with eshel, and we're just like trying to imitate. So we're going to see what the consistency looks like, and then we're going to judge. So we have vanilla, just making sure we have the eggs, we have the sugar, we have vanilla, we have the yogurt and the flour. That's it. It's pretty simple. So just going to start. That you can do by hand. It's a very...
If you already have Greek yogurt, can you just add some water to loosen it?
Yes, if you have milk, you can add milk to loosen it. Yes, water will work. Yes. I think a few years ago, I did it with coconut yogurt for people who don't want dairy. And it works pretty well as well. So you can play with it.
How much vanilla did you add?
Vanilla, 2 teaspoons.
Okay,
I don't have, 2 teaspoons in the recipe.
okay.
It looks a little bit thick for me, but let's see. Let's make sure that everything is mixed. Of course, mixer is helpful here, but
So that is pretty thick.
it's pretty thick, but the more you mix it, the more you can judge about the consistency. It's not all mixed, so I'm not gonna judge yet. Okay, you can add a little bit. Did you see it? It is thick, Sherry, right? So I'm gonna add a little bit more yogurt. And if I still don't like it, I can add 1 tablespoon of water. And you're gonna see what consistency I want to achieve.
Is there any way to make this parve, or is this a recipe that needs to be dairy?
So just like I said, I think you can sub the dairy yogurt with coconut-based yogurt or vegan or one of those cashew yogurt. Today on the market, you have so many things, but you want it to be that consistency. Here, I'm gonna add a little bit. So you can try it. It would work. I did it a couple years ago. I know it's usually you eat it with dinner, so, or after dinner, so you want to be able to do it part 2. So yogurt, coconut yogurt, or cashew yogurt, one of those. So this is pretty good, but I'm gonna let it, this also needs to rest like 10 minutes. I'm gonna add another. It needs to rest, and when it's resting, it rests only 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's gonna get thicker, so I don't want it to get thicker than this. Just gonna mix. All right, we're ready. Once the oil is getting warm, it's gonna sit and wait for me to be ready to fry it. I'm gonna move the camera in a second, Sherry. My hands are dirty. I'm gonna move you to the stove. Let's talk about the oil. As much as I wanna make it healthy oil, I'm still gonna encourage you to use canola or vegetable oil. I used this. It's not my everyday cooking oil at all. I hardly ever use this, but you can mess up with the Sufganiyot making. It just,
Well, you need that because it has a high smoking point and it doesn't have flavor.
True that. And I find that these brands, this and the other, I don't know, famous brand, what's that, Crisco, work very well. I do not like the generic brands. I don't know why. They don't work as well. Anyway, so this is our batter. You see the consistency. Thicker, but still not like the yeast dough. And it's resting, and I'm gonna turn on the, you can see the level of, it's about 1.5 inch. I could probably add some, because the Sufganiyot itself, you want it to be able to drop it, and then it comes up, and it like pops up, and you want it to be deep enough. So you will never see my pots and pans with so much oil, except for Hanukkah. So I'm using, this is a 2-quart saucepan. I like it because it's small. I don't have to use so much oil as if I would in a larger pot. And they're gonna go very quickly, so like cook quickly. So even if it's small, it's still gonna be quick. So you see how it starts to warm up. You don't wanna start frying yet. You're gonna test we're gonna drop one little, you see, if we drop this, if it's beginning to come off my finger. I know it's pretty early in the warming of the oil, but if we drop this, so it's very stubborn piece of the, I'm gonna drop one just to test the oil. See, you don't want it to do this. You want to drop it and it pops out. This is, you know your oil is not ready. So we're just gonna let it come to the right temperature. And this is actually a good test because as soon as there will be bubbles around this one, and we'll know it's very close to be ready.
If you do have a thermometer, do you know what temperature it should be?
I believe it's around 300, 320. And you can test that, but this is the best way to know. So I will raise the heat. See, it popped up, but it's still not ready because it's not sizzling. You want to drop the dough and it pops up very quickly and cooks.
Can you use a non-stick saucepan or something other than stainless?
Yeah, it's possible.
Doesn't matter.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter, just that it's deep enough to contain the size of the donut, or you will be small. I'm gonna use this, it's a soup spoon, and I'm just gonna like scoop spoonful, no special tools needed. I'm just gonna do this, and that's how I'm gonna work. Now, if the temperature of the oil will change as you go because it keeps warming up. It's still on the stove, so you will have, once you have the right temperature, you will have to lower the heat a little bit. So right now I'm on medium high, just because I want it to warm up quickly.
Is that little bit of dough rising? Is that actually coming up?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came up.
Oh, okay.
You can see a little bit of bubbles around it. That means we're getting there, but we're not there yet. I can make another test and show you, but this is how we're gonna make them. We're gonna drop them close to the oil. See, it's not coming up right when I dropped it, so you know you're not ready. It's gonna be fine, but this donut will have a little bit more oil than the other. It's just gonna be heavier. So this is a good test, besides working with a thermometer. But I want to see this with more bubbles around it. And that's what the quick drop motion will give it that round shape that we're looking for. I'm giving my dough a little bit of a mix. It rested enough. It's actually probably ready to go. So without the talking, you can see that it's a quicker way to do Sufganiyot. I'm just gonna, let's try again. You can see the different stages of oil temperature. I reduced the heat a little bit. You can see the first test that I have. You see the bubbles around it. You see it's just getting there. It's a tricky, it comes with also experience, but the tips I give you here are gonna make it a little bit shorter for you. I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit because I don't want it to be super hot. So I'm probably on medium right now on my stove, but again, every stove is different. I'm gonna drop. Wait, can you see me? Yeah.
And so should you fry just one at a time or more? How many is the most that you should put in there?
So my phone got a little bit warm, so I'm gonna leave the phone out. I'm gonna bring you closer with the laptop. What did you ask?
How many is the max that you can put in at a time?
So it depends on the size of the pot. I think you can see a little bit, right? It's not as good as from above, but my phone just got warm and I had to turn it off. So let me bring the spoon again.
So you have 2 in there now. Would you?
I have 3.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I have 3. We can probably do more, but don't forget I'm working with a 2. I dropped in another one with a 2-quart saucepan. So it depends on the size of the pan. Now, you don't want your heat to be super hot that they turn brown right away because you really want it to cook inside. So it's kind of like a tricky, point to figure out exactly the heat that you want. So those round ones will turn on their own. It's funny. But if you notice that one is just staying too long on the one side and it turns like burnt, then you want to start like moving it. So can you see a little bit of me?
Oh, so it'll just turn on itself?
They do.
Like a baby.
Yeah, it's cute to watch. It's really, really cute to watch. I'm gonna drop another one and you'll see. I'm gonna lower a little the heat because now I want to keep it steady. So let's drop another one.
Elite, have you ever tried it, or do you know if anyone's ever tried using like an electric skillet that you plug in instead of using a stovetop?
I'm sure it will work. Sure. As long as you have the oil, the right depth. Can you see them rolling? This one doesn't, so I'm gonna roll it. This one didn't, so I'm gonna roll. But you wanna give it enough time to cook inside. Just let me know if you want me to move the camera. In 1 second, I'm gonna get closer. I think this is it as much as I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I can do another one. Well, it smells great, so wish you could smell it, but see them?
It looks yummy. I'm ready.
So, yeah, I wouldn't put another one because then it will be too crowded, but you can see how they roll. This one just was stubborn not to roll. They do, most of them will roll on their own. So I'm just gonna hold it, make sure that that side is
I don't know how anybody would be able to just put them away and not eat them, honestly.
It's impossible. And it's also very quick without the talking, cut my talking. If you have the ingredients, it's just like pancakes. It's cute, quick. And you can, you can make a mistake, you can throw away, you can start all over, but it's quick. So it's easy to do last minute. Yeah.
Someone's jumping recipes and asked what if they're looking at their yeast dough, should it be rising and how much should it be rising?
It should double its size, but even if it's not completely doubled, we're gonna make it work. So I'm starting to take them off. I have a dish here with paper towel, of course, because why not? We don't want them soaking in their own oil. So You can see the golden brown, perfect. They look like donut holes, like munchkins. I have a few more minutes for the yeast dough. So I'm gonna do a little bit more with these. Might be able to move you closer so you can see. Let's do a couple more. Just gonna work with my soup spoon. You wanna be close to the oil. Of course, you don't, to prevent splashing. And
is there a difference in the flavor between the two doughs?
yes. The yeast one, yeah, it's more cakey and it's hard to explain. But can you see, is it better now? I'm gonna even lower a little bit because I don't want them to burn so quickly. You want them to cook, so you want at least probably 2-3 minutes or for each side.
So if they're browning too quickly, you should turn your oil down a little.
Yeah, look at this. It's like a perfect.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Round. So cute. And you can see how they just roll. Yeah, so if it turns brown right away, you don't want it. You want to lower. And at this point, your oil is hot. So you can just keep it hot, warm on a low heat. Don't continue to increase the heat. Dropping low and they pop up. So the smell is amazing right now. It does smell like Hanukkah in my kitchen.
Who out there is making them right now while with us? Yeah, how does it smell? Smell good?
And soon I'm gonna move to the yeast one. I'm just gonna, this will be my last one. The longer like into the process it is, the more perfect they come out. Like now they're all like, they fall, they round, they roll on their own. Once you get to this, like, do you see how they're rolling?
Yeah.
So cute.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's so.
I wonder what the scientific reason is that
that they roll to the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one side is like heavy, so I don't understand why would they roll. So this one doesn't want to roll, so I'm gonna roll it. You just need to watch, like if you'll notice the bottom gets too dark, you wanna roll it on your own. So this one looks good.
Is one of the doughs produce a lighter sufganiyot or in one a denser?
Well, obviously these are going to be a little bit smaller, and also I'm going to talk about the shape we're going to create with the other ones.
But in terms of being dense and heavy or one being lighter, is there a difference?
No, not so much. This one also will be like when we'll open one in a second when you'll see that they are cakey. It's also a good test to do one to make sure that it's cooked through and before you finish with the batch, and to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So I'm gonna move you a little bit to see this will be the last batch that I'll do, and then I'm gonna go to the, you see, do you have a good?
Yeah, it's amazing that they come out so perfectly round from
Perfect
just
round,
chopping.
yeah, without just the spoonful and, no special tools needed. It's really fun to do with the kids, and obviously the kids need to be like standing far, but it's fun. And then we'll open one and we'll work that's my, the chime for the yeast dough for half an hour. You just don't want to take it out too soon, because the last thing you want to do is open it and see dough inside or wet, or they really need to like cook through. So I'm just gonna wait a couple more seconds.
I can only imagine like how much smell in your house.
It smells so good. And I didn't put the fan on because it makes noise. I don't want to make noise for the camera, for the show, for the demonstration, but this is a perfect one. Perfect. So a lot, you can get a lot with this. I mean, I still have a ton of dough. Probably a third, so I can tell you how many I have. I have
It's a good thing you have some kids home.
9, 12, about 15, about 20 here. We're probably gonna have like at least 45. So I'm gonna finish with this batch. We still have to make sure that it's the right temperature. I'm going to turn off the oil, and you can see that the oil is not very messy. Can you see?
If you make that quick dough and you don't use it all, can you put it in the refrigerator and use it tomorrow or in a few days?
I think it should be fine. Not as perfect, but it should be fine if it's refrigerated. So I don't know what you guys see. So you saw the oil is very clean. It's not messy at all. And I'm going to use it for the other one too. I wouldn't recommend to use oil a few times. These oils are meant to be used one time. It's not like commercialized oils, and once you use it once, but because we're doing it at the same day, I'm going to use that pan again just for the demonstration. So I turned off the heat, and I'm going to bring this here. We're going to do a test just to make sure that we are in the right direction here. I don't know which one I pulled first, so it's kind of hot. But you can see, you see, and it smells absolutely delicious. So it's kind of like cakey. And now we're gonna wait for it to cool, of course, a little bit, because you still want them warmish. So you're gonna finish frying everything, and then you're gonna start with injecting the jelly, and I'll do it together with the other. I want to start with the yeast, making room for the yeast one to roll it. I want you to see what it looks like. So this is one. I have to taste it too. Delicious. Okay. I'm going to take out the other dough in a second. Just want to make sure I don't have anything on the counter. How's your visual? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Because I don't want to I can't do the phone now. It probably rested and it's in the right temperature. We can try and do that. I may have to connect to you again. They're going to come up with a phone that doesn't heat up as easily. The phone does heat up easily.
A baking phone.
Yep, exactly. Just for me. All right. It happened to me before that it heat up. Okay, I'll roll it and I'll see if I have to move you. So I took out my dough. It rose. It's not, I don't know if it's double, but it's enough. It has a good spongy feel to it. So, and it has another opportunity to rise. So I'm not very, very concerned. You can see I'm flouring my counter. You see well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna bring it to be like you see the consistency kind of? Why am I upside down here? I don't know.
We see you perfectly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I think I'm gonna work into batches just because it's easier to roll just half of it, but you can definitely work with the entire. I'm just gonna do half. Where's my rolling pin? Okay. So we're gonna roll it, not a whole lot, just about probably half an inch. And again, sizes is up to you. I'm gonna show you with a small circle and a larger circle, but I'm not worried about the flour. It's gonna disappear with the second proofing and the frying. So this is what you wanna get, about this. Can you see the thickness? Probably half an inch. Because don't forget, it's gonna rise again and it's gonna fry and rise even more. Hopefully to be like a little donut. There are donuts, but they're so much better than the store-bought. I'm gonna have just a cookie sheet just so I have room to lay them as they are ready. So I'm using just a mug. I like that it has a thin, you could see thin lip. It's not very thick, and that's what you want. If you have just plastic shapes that you can make cookies with, or you can use that. This one is about maybe 3 inches. This is kind of like a good size for a donut. And then I have a small one that I'm gonna demonstrate just maybe 2 inches, because they do puff and they do get bigger. So I'm just gonna make round shapes going all around, trying to save dough, because you don't want to start in the middle. You want to start at the edge and make them round, very close to each other, even touching that and the edge. So plan your way, because we're gonna take the leftovers and work them again. You don't throw away dough or food. So can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You're gonna go, and that's a traditional shape, of course, of a donut. I like that size. Might do here 2 baby ones. So you want to get all the way to the counter, so it's easy to pick them up. I'm gonna go from the bottom, easy, and just lay them here for another round of proofing. By the time I'm gonna finish with everything, these are gonna rest. Now they need about 10 minutes of resting, because they're thin. They're not like a big challah that needs another 2 hours or an hour and a half. They just need a little bit. But second proofing is very important. So I'm gonna work these again. I'm gonna just wait for the second one and collect all the leftovers. I'm gonna make it as a ball. I'm not throwing it away. It's perfectly fine. I'm gonna work it as a ball and start rolling out again. I'm still taking out these. Now there's another tricky way to do. I used to love doing it, but it's really up to you. You can roll this to a thinner dough, or just like do the two halves, two separate leaves. I'm gonna cover these so they are. So that I used to like, because it's kind of like cool technique. So you're just gonna mark the shape. It's actually, I just need only one. And then you're gonna put the filling here, the jelly, and you can try that. Put the jelly in the middle, or whatever your filling is, and you're gonna cover it. And now you see a little bump for the jelly, right? And now go again and make a circle. And what you got is a closed donut with the jelly inside.
Ravioli.
Huh?
Like a ravioli.
Right. And now you don't have to worry about later on put the jelly inside with the syringe or whatever it's called. and this is kind of, it's cool. They will be a little bit thicker, but it's cool. Why not? It's just a fun way of doing it. So I'm gonna do that later, that half. I'm gonna give it 5 more seconds to proof to rest. And we can do the jelly, of course. Let's see. I found this on Amazon, very cheap. And I like to work with smooth jelly. No, you don't want big real fruits. It is fruity, but it's not like with the big chunks. So I'm gonna feel this. There are a lot of ways to do it. I'm just gonna feel.
If you don't have a syringe like that.
Right. So there's for years I was too lazy to use a syringe because it's another something to wash, but you can definitely do it with just a simple knife that you can make like a little hole, a little room, wiggle, and you take a little bit of jelly and you put it in. You don't need much. You just need a little taste. Really, it doesn't have to swim in jelly. So, like this. You know, it's the same work. This syringe is not a huge help. So I'm just gonna do a little squirt. With the syringe, you can't really see how much you put. Just want to see a little bit of the jelly, really. And I love to work with the red jelly. It's just a traditional way. In Israel today, or anywhere, you can find so many variations of Sufganiyot. Sky's the limit. Even gold sprinkles, but I always go back to the traditional way. So you're gonna go through all that, and this is the best tool. And there's nothing like powder sugar that makes it perfect, right? That's it. So this is the quick ones. It doesn't need a lot of powdered sugar. Of course, it's a matter of taste, but that's the
Yum.
result. And let's check our babies here. So they rested. You can give it another 5-10 minutes. It's fine. I put it on parchment paper because you don't want, now we're gonna handle them. We're gonna put them in the oil, but you don't want them to get stuck to your whatever surface you put. So you can put it on a floured surface, or I love to work with parchment paper. So we're gonna move again to the stove. Actually, I'm gonna put this here.
Has your oil been on all this time, or did you turn it off?
I turned it off. You don't want to leave your oil unattended on. I'm gonna turn it on again, bring it to temperature, and I'm gonna show you another trick. With these Sufganiyot, I'm gonna raise you up. So, okay, you have a platter ready, yeah? And you have the raw dough here, and using the same pan. And here it's gonna be maybe 3 at a time, depends on the size, but we'll see. You have a good visual?
Yes.
Okay. So, with this one, I'm still gonna use the test. To see that it's ready. Here we started with the warmer. See, it jumped right away. So we're almost ready. These are a little bit heavier, and they'll need maybe a couple minutes, maybe another minute than the rest. But also low heat, no hot heat, because you're gonna just get a crusty outside and the inside will be doughy, so we don't want that. But with this one, you're gonna put it in oil. I'm gonna wait one more second. And I'm gonna try very slowly. First side, I'm gonna wait, is gonna be covered for 1 minute. That's the trick. Literally, you have to wait like 1 minute. This will help it puff and cook better and have the right color and everything. It's a key. So about 1 minute. My oil is not perfect. It needs a few more degrees. And then, so I would put 3 together, cover, wait a minute, and then let it fry on that one side for another minute, 2 minutes, depends on the color, and then flip. Could probably fit 4 here, but, and the oil is still coming up to its perfect temperature. I can try and see what temperature it is with my. I want to say 300, but.
Well, it looks like it's puffing.
Yeah, so exactly. So now I'm gonna let it fry on that side for another minute. Puffing very nicely. Let me see if you can see better. The next batch, I'm just gonna do 3 at a time. But the oil is still warming up. I'm just trying to rush it because of the Zoom, but You see?
So one recipe definitely makes more of a munchkin type
Yeah.
sufganiyot,
Yeah.
and the other, it's a more traditional donut
Exactly.
size. Okay.
Exactly. I'm gonna push a little bit because it puffed so much that you see the sides are like white, just like in the pictures that you see. So I'm gonna just dunk it a little bit in the oil. Just to make sure that it's cooked inside. It really puffed so nicely. So you saw that it didn't have to come to a double size it's not as, spoiled as challah dough. I mean, it is challah dough, but it's not, because they're going to be fried, they're going to puff quickly. And they're smaller, so it's a little bit different process than a challah. All right, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put it again on, you see that, yeah? So I'm just going to do, let's demonstrate 3 together. You can see me. I'm putting it very slowly again I can probably fit 4. And I'm going to lower the heat. I don't like that it's so sizzling. Lower. And I'm going to cover it for 1 minute, as I promised. So you can see them puffing nicely. So who's gonna venture and try to make it?
Oh, yes. Oh,
this-
yes.
This
Oh,
holiday.
yeah. I see hands up there.
Good. It's not that bad, right? It's just fun.
No, it looks great. And you make it, I told you, I'm like a messy cook, and you make it look
not
so
messy.
neat.
So not messy at all, right?
Yeah,
Look at this. They are so puffy and so cute. Oi.
so these don't flip on their own. These need
No.
to be flipped.
Yeah. And I'm on low now. So I probably, I started with a hotter oil, with a warmer oil, so it took less time. But the secret is really, this is a little bit too much for me. Like, I don't want it so dark. So I'm gonna just lower the heat and just stay on low heat.
So you only cover it for the traditional yeast method, and it's probably because you create a steam inside that helps them puff.
Right, because of the dough type, because of the yeast dough, it needs to have that moment of rising, but just for the beginning. And then I'm gonna, by the color, it looks ready, but I'm a little bit worried. Perfect. Let me see. I'm gonna wait for one to be cool, and I'm gonna test it. This one will mess up the oil a little bit because it has flour on it. Remember how we floured the counter? So now the oil is on low, and here's the one with the
Oh, good.
And I have 2 baby ones. I'm gonna wait with that.
So this recipe, about how many sufganiyot do you think it would make?
So I'm gonna tell you in a minute. We doubled one, so it's like I have 4 here. I have 5, 9, 10, 11. I still have dough from the other half. 11, probably 25.
Okay, no, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it depends on how big you make it. So with these, you're gonna have more, and with the 4-inch mug one, you're gonna have less. You can make them bigger, a little bit bigger. You don't want them too big. Yum. So I'm gonna try and cut, just like open it and see that it's puffed. And if you're gonna we're gonna put jelly here. So here we'll have the jelly. In that cavity.
So this is very clearly the difference if you went to Dunkin' Donuts and you got a cake donut.
Oh my goodness.
And you got a puffy donut. So they're just different kinds of donuts.
Right, true. And any dough you're gonna fry will taste a little bit different, but I think.
But in terms of the textures of the two recipes.
Yeah, yeast dough and cake dough. Yeah. I would agree. I didn't make more. We can go and make more, but this is probably it.
So have you ever used that syringe to put in any like a chocolate or a Nutella, hazelnutty kind, anything else?
You definitely can. Definitely. Nutella will be awesome. So I'm just gonna go inside, and here you're gonna have more room. So you have to like kind of like, this will need one here. You have to like estimate how much you put in. Just a little squirt is nice. You can make some without. Everybody's different.
Okay. I see the Amazon orders popping up for that
syringe. It's
syringe.
I have to say, it makes life easier.
That is handy dandy.
I'm probably using it once a year, but it's just easy, just like that powdered sugar canister thing that I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna let the dog out. Hold on.
I thought the dog wanted the donut, the Sufganiyot.
He wants everything. He does. So just for the finishing touches, and of course we have another whole thing and we can make it together, but I'm gonna bring the syringe. So that jelly goes very quickly with the big ones.
So everyone who's going to make these, you've got to send us emails or pictures and let us know how it worked out for you. You make it look so simple.
It is simple. It's dough. What's the worst that can happen? We'll do it again. And Hanukkah is 8 days, so you have eight days to experiment.
And who gains the most weight?
And who's going anywhere anyways? We all like here. So this is it. It smells really, really amazing. And this is.
If you want to put like sprinkles or, like sugary, glittery stuff, it will stick to it.
Yeah. So I would get one of those icings, Pillsbury, whatever, pre-made icing thing, just to make life easier. Maybe make it in like a fun color. And you can do like maybe a pink glaze and put like blue sprinkle.
Okay.
Just something.
Okay. So you need something for sprinkles to adhere to.
Right, like your glue, but it's also
okay.
sweet. So if you're not doing jelly, it will be a good, or chocolate. You can just like melt a few chocolate chip or of chocolate frosting. Just be careful because now your donuts are hot, so you want it probably to cool.
Wait till. Mhm.
Yeah, because the icing will just run out. But when it's cool, I would do like 1 teaspoon, spread it with sprinkles. It's beautiful. It looks beautiful. I'm sure you can find menorah sprinkles. I bet you.
Oh, I'm sure they must have.
It smells so good.
I can't.
And I want to answer all the questions if you guys have.
So all the questions I've asked you have come from our chat discussion.
Okay.
One question was, what do you do with your leftover cooking oil? Someone said, don't put it down your drain, put it in a jar and throw it out. What do you do?
That's very true. I would put it in, that's what I would do. I would do it in a plastic bag, a few bags, because I like my jars. I don't have jars that I'm throwing away, but you can just put in a few plastic bags. Let it cool. First of all, let it cool. You don't want to handle hot oil. Let it cool. And yeah, in a couple of bags, just so you don't have any leaks, and put it in the trash. Yep.
Okay. Any last questions? Last call. Thank you, Elite, so much. This was amazing. And I think it will be a lot of fun for us to try.
Well, I don't know if
This was a great way to get ready for Hanukkah. Yeah. And lots of us have.
Somebody needs to come and take it away from me because it's.
Did anyone make it? Is there anyone back there who made it while we were doing this? I see some people munching. Are they munching on something else?
Maybe just on lunch.
Okay.
Huh. But if someone lives close to me, I'll leave it on the porch. I'll be happy to share the happiness here. I'm going to send some to my in-laws, but definitely I have some. You can come and try.
Okay. All right. So just as thank you, Elite. I hope all of you, before you started with our Sufganiyot, saw some of the events that are coming up, that you saw our feed of the slideshow, and that there's lots going on at BT for Hanukkah, and that lots of places we get to see you. So Thursday night's our first night of virtual candle lighting, 5:30. Saturday night is our mentalist, Jason Saran, who is it's a mind reader. It's not, he's not a hypnotist. He's more of a mind reader. And on Sunday, the drive-by to see the rabbis and the virtual Hanukkah party. So there's just so much going on. And we wish you and your family a Hanukkah Sameach, and to Elite a Hanukkah Sameach. And thank you for sharing your kitchen and your expertise with us.
Fun, thank you, and happy Hanukkah, and be safe, be healthy.
To all of us. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. See you soon.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you. Sherry, do you want to turn off the Zoom, turn off the mutes, and if anyone wants to say hi? Okay, anyone who wants to unmute can, and if not, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Sherry.
Bye, Lee. Thank you so much. You made this seem so.
Don't forget to change the 1 teaspoon of salt to 1/4 teaspoon.
Well, that's in your recipe that you emailed, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to send that out to everyone.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like Maureen Davidoff made them, and I'll find out from her how yummy they are. Okay. All right.
Come over. I'll leave it on the front porch.
Okay. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.